randomly.
Hello, humans, and welcome to Audio Face. Quick Draw McGraw over here. This is episode 307 of your favorite irreverent podcast about the music news and music culture that mostly matters. Sticking the landing here on Audio Face Express here is Dan.
Hi, I'm Sean. That's great.
Yeah, this is a quick hot. So we're just doing the Audio Face Express because I have a
the old
flight.
CRJ, baby.
I have a flight that not only am I in danger of missing, I have a history of missing.
Yes.
I missed this
Wouldn't be the
exact
first
same
one.
flight last time I was flying out to New York on a Sunday when I was recording an Audio Face. I'm not blaming Audio Face for that. I'm directly blaming myself for that, which is the accountability you get in your mid-20s. This is a fine podcast, and I'm really excited to, among other things, talk about three really great albums with my dear old pal Sean. We have Charli XCX's Bratwurst. We have Timeless by KAYTRANADA, and then we have Born in the Wild by Tems. Also, in our super deluxe quick hits, we have a couple of light news stories I'll touch on. I'm not even going to open the articles, just going to read our group chat and figure out how it's going because it's one of those. And
that's the vibe.
Yeah. Sean secretly deep down is like, my favorite Audio Face is Dan is in a Rush Audio Face. So it's like, this is March Madness.
Next thing you know, it's 8:30 p.m. Dan's like, oh, whoops, there goes my flight. There goes my plane. And meanwhile, I'm tracking it. I'm just like, hey, you're it's already on the tarmac, buddy.
Yeah. I will be, I mean, it's a possibility, but I will find a way to do the call from the backseat of my Uber, giving it the old college try. Metro, hurry the
fast again.
Metro and LAX, hurry the hell up with that thing. So, anyways, we're gonna get into that. Thank you very much for joining us and being here. We're just happy to be here, and let's start with our very first album, shall we? That's not how that works.
Oh, easy. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's quick drama McGraw over here. All right. So, first album review of the day is Brat, in all caps in the title, but in low quality JPEG lowercase on the other thing, which I have a lot to get to here, but we'll get to it. 15 songs, 41 minutes long. I'm also getting a new glasses prescription, so some of these things will start to get fixed soon, but I was supposed to get the glasses before flying out, and that's very clearly not happening, so we out here. But yeah, this is, let's just get right to the most important aspect of this album. Not only the fact that its album cover is a compressed JPEG, like literally it's the button in Photoshop when you hit export where you drag the slider down to 2. It's a really good meme look for someone who's trying to produce a high definition video podcast. It makes me mad.
Love it.
But also, she changed all of her album covers on streaming to match this look. So the old album covers for the old album cover. That's why I sent you in Discord. The old album covers for Crash and How I'm Feeling Now. And Pop 2,
yeah,
they're all true Gonskis. It just fits this, Microsoft Paint, default font, lowercase naming of the album. Even the Crash Deluxe album cover is no different from the regular one.
Great. I love it.
But after listening to the album multiple times and crying to it half of those times, it's a lot going on here. There's a criticism that I have with this album and another one that we're going to be reviewing later. And I'll get to that in a moment. Charli XCX, of course, has been making music. I mentioned True Romance in 2013, so a very long time, and she's evolved her sound really well into kind of like what used to be kind of a very pardon the phrase, like manic pop into what kind of got more solidified by folks like Sophie, who Charli XCX name drops in this album, including name dropping George Daniel quite a lot. So that's funny.
Well, you know that they're married, right?
No, I do know that they're
Yeah,
married,
okay.
but I also know that Damon Albarn never mentions his wife, but maybe that's a therapy session for Damon Albarn that we need to have on the podcast.
Yeah, but you know,
Ex-wife, sorry. Ex-wives, sorry.
yeah.
Again, Damon Albarn, take a break. Let's just stop making music. Free Jamie Hewlett and Damon Albarn's wives. I'm gonna stop right there because Free has a lot of commentations right now. Anyways, so Brat is a very, at best and at worst, it is actually no. At worst, which is actually a compliment, it is a standard Charli XCX record, in the sense that a lot of Charli XCX records, which I really appreciate, they have this continuous thing where usually the first couple of songs answer the last couple of songs, both in sound, both in thematic lyric structure. One of my favorite ways this was done was in I Hate That All of These Albums Are Now Changed. But I want to say, yeah, it was with the Charli record in 2019, where you had the song 1999 with Troye Sivan and Charli XCX, and then you had 1999 that were these like radically different. One was, yeah, a turn of the century kind of record, and that's what they're singing about. And the last one was like a power ballad from the future. And like, first listen, onion cutting. Like, that was incredible stuff from a pop record. So like, Charli's got it. She's had it. She had arguably one of the better pandemic records with How I'm Feeling Now, released in 2020. Crash was, you know, it not to be ironic, but Crash, I think, landed pretty well, if not doing anything like, you know, too remarkable. But Brat, I think, takes an interesting turn where Charli XCX becomes really vulnerable in her lyrics. She's saying, I don't really know what I'm doing with my career. I am simultaneously super obsessed with Billboard chart numbers and not obsessed at all. You get into some really vulnerable parts at the end of the record. We're reviewing it, so obviously spoilers, but it's like a really moving piece of the record where she's like, I don't care about my music career anymore. I want to be a mother. And it's like a really powerful thing. And you know, it's also done with the same sort of like Charli XCX, you know, a little bit of snark, a little bit of sarcasm. It's like, you know, the album's called Brat. It's like, you know, girly kind of gay pop in a way. And I don't mean that's like a pejorative thing. It's like, this is also her fan base. Very proudly, I am one of them. And so, yeah, I think that while my downsides with this record are that it is, sometimes it falls into like, I feel like Charli XCX has a template for a song of like how each key answers, and always it kind of ends in a major key, and you get some of that here, but you get enough things that are different, and you get a really deep sort of like lyrical pop record. And again, I'm like, I haven't heard Ariana Grande talk about fuck the charts, I want to like live my life, right?
Yeah.
That's a really big statement for someone who has had a lot of critical commercial success, as she talks about in this record, to, you know, come out and say. And it's a vulnerable thing while also kind of staying within her usual Charli XCX nature of, you know, I think the last song features like the phrase bump it, and it has, you know, cocaine references and nightclub references. And so she's still very much herself, but she's also showing her brain growing and herself growing as a person. And it was, you know, it reminded me of that Charli record where she really started it and ended it in a really phenomenal way.
I think this is a fantastic record. I think for an artist who's been around as long as Charli XCX has, it's impressive for a pop artist to show the range in a way, right? From your kind of like your bog standard sound pop with the first couple records, you know, True Romance, Sucker, you know, those first two records, definitely more like traditional pop sound. And now you had Crash, which I enjoyed a lot a couple years ago. And with this, it's with Brat, you get like just straight club bangers in here. You have a lot of interesting producers that I think really contribute well. You have Kashaffelstein, one of my favorite.
What?
Out there.
I didn't read any of the track list, so thankfully you did.
Yeah, Kashaffelstein. You had the best 1975 member, George Daniel, who is always letting him
Officially
fight.
a friend of Charli XCX's show.
Officially a legally binding friend on the Charlie XCX show.
Did what
Um,
Maddie Healy couldn't do with Taylor Swift.
I'm just
Not
gonna
gonna
jump over
touch
that landmine. I'm not gonna drag you and make you miss your flight. Quick hops. But you have Circuit, a couple other really good producers on here that make a very cohesive but very interesting sounding record where you have, and it kind of fits the theme, right? Like a she wants to show kind of like a frazzled pop star in the early aughts, right? Like the paparazzis around you swarming you, Britney Spears style, just all in your face, this or that, like the craze manic of the Spice Girls and all of these things, that motives and stuff that you get, but in a really modern way. And when you listen lyrically, like you alluded to earlier, it makes sense of why that's kind of the theme that she chose with the record, because it's like, hey, I don't really know who I want to be as an artist in a way, where like, how's my career supposed to be going? I have all these pressures that I put on myself and then I don't put on myself. At the end of the day, I really want to have a family and have a life, right? And she just got married with George and all this, and they have a
Balls in your court, daddy.
exactly, balls in your court, George. Just hey, I mean, she's the one who said it. I didn't. So
Yeah. She put the card on the table. You have the chance to make the funniest nepo baby of all time.
Absolutely, and they're gonna be that nepo baby right there. It's gonna make some fucking bangers.
Or
Bangers, Joe Rogan.
they could also end up being Willow Smith. There's pretty much no in between though.
There's no in between. It's either gonna be like fucking Eve's Tumor or Willow Smith. Like that's it.
To be fair, let me be fair to Willow Smith, who has admittedly gotten better. Early Willow Smith.
Okay, fine. Fair play. But like example, the second track, Club Classics, which is George Daniel produced, fucking just banger.
Jersey
right
Club, done the right way, Drake.
Done the right way. Like this is right here where somebody who has actually been to garage, right? Somebody who listened to it, grew up with it, went to raves and shit. Like this is what you make. And you get that throughout the record that I absolutely
I've been to
love.
raves, Crody.
All right. And I really enjoy this record. I think it's a big step in the right direction for Charli XCX. I think the producers that she worked with really nailed the theme throughout the record, and her being very introspective and very vulnerable is something that is gutsy, it's ballsy, and I'm glad that she did that too, to really lay it out there, but in such an upbeat record and everything, to where you have to like really pay attention to make sure it doesn't go over your head in that regard. And
I just want to say, like, to underscore your point, like at her level right now, she could have easily taken the route that every pop star at her level has earned.
Yeah.
Which is the braggadocious, no one can touch me. I'm hitting my stride. I'm changing things musically. I'm hitting things like, I'm not going to say what I was about to say because I was about to bring Beyonce into the conversation and we don't want that podcast either. Let's bring up Taylor Swift and Beyonce and do like, controversial comparisons the day I have a flight. No, let's not do that. But like she is a really successful artist who is not just showing her success in, commercial success, but artistic success, right? Like It's a really rare combination to also do all those things incredibly consistently at a high level. There's things that go to that, but I really think you can't really take away her talent. But instead, she went the Mr. Morale route, which is like, I could talk about how great I am. Like I could put out another damn, more on that later. But no, I'm going to open it all up, kind of. I'm gonna like open myself to like, pop music's not the same kind of like rap beef sort of territory where we're now in this world where if you open yourself up on a record or you're hiding too much outside of the records, then we're in the TMZ rap beef era, so that is a thing. Pop, not so much. You just have to worry about, again, the paparazzi kind of things you were mentioning earlier. But I think, again, for a pop star of her stature to go to this vulnerable level is refreshing. It's something that I've repeatedly wished a number of artists have done and repeatedly, praise the artists that do. And, like album wise, you have good tracks in here. Like, my favorite ones are actually not the ones that are like the most popular. And my favorite ones, even though this isn't a top or bottom heavy record. I think it's pretty well balanced and pretty well timed. Um, it's really like song 10 or 11 down, because you get into, I think, Charli digging the deepest, both into the production that she's exploring with the producers that she's working with. And that's where you get, I think about it all the time, that last record where she talks about, I found a baby, it's mine, I'm ready. Like, I don't want to be I barely, if at all, want to be a pop star anymore. I just want to have normal human experiences. Or, traditionally normal human experiences. If you choose not to have kids or whatever, that's like normal and like totally fine. Like, I don't mean to like make that comparison, but like traditional coming of age moments that a lot of people in pop music or making pop music seem to never want to reach or express that they are possibly reaching within their music.
Right. I genuinely think it's a very good record. I think you might be underselling it a little bit for what it is.
Underselling it. I thought I was really praising it.
I mean, you were. I don't know. I felt like you were like saying, it's good. It has good tracks, But I'm like, I think it's phenomenal, especially.
No,
for
I said there's no. I said there's no filler. I said that it's not top or
yeah.
bottom heavy. I just said that I like the bottom because she goes really deep, really.
Oh,
quickly,
she goes
and it's
insanely deep in there, right? Especially Apple. That track I thought was really good. B2B was another
B2B
good.
is my favorite for sure.
Incredible track with that one. So
365 might be
also
B2B.
B2B is Awfulstein produced, baby.
Oh, yeah, that makes
he goes in it.
And yeah, like 365 answers 360 in the most Charli XCX way possible, like both thematically and then like, yeah, the whole like bumping metaphor is really good. She plays within, her self-titled bratty side with this, but also her, maturing side and, letting the duality of both of those exist, which
yeah,
we love that. I think that's the best form of maturity.
This is, I think, a phenomenal record. I think it's a phenomenal electronic record, which is something that I've been wanting for quite some time. And you really bridge from pop to electronic and really make a beautiful record in that way. It pays homage to old garage, to club bangers, to some different house motifs and stuff. But it makes sense because of all the people she worked with, make those hits, make sounds, and are genuine fans of electronic music. I'm looking at you, Drake. Like, if you want to make electronic record in a way, like, and you're a pop star, like, this is what you strive to do in a way. And
mainly you work with the best electronic records. I'm talking like, Daft Punk produced and made things, down to Justice and
Justice, yeah.
and down to the more recent Renaissance record with Beyonce. They are calling back and tapping into the most talented people in electronic music throughout history. It's going through that history because, I mean, there's great stuff. I mean, we've talked about like Fred again. There's great stuff in like the new scene as well.
Yeah, from Disclosure and a couple others. There's definitely good artists.
And those artists really tap into that history as well, right? But like the really sonically transcendent records, which I think, Charli XCX will be to some extent. Beyonce's records, of course, will be to some extent. I mean, of course, will be, period, in a sense. Don't want that smoke right now. It's Charli XCX is really painting herself as this generation up there, like in that realm of those artists. And, I start to sound like a stan because, some of Charli XCX's fans online can be like really ridiculous. And there's like all the, stereotypes that exist of it. But I mean, the music speaks for itself.
And this album speaks for itself.
And not just this album, but like Crash, How I'm Feeling Now. Like, honestly, can we just talk about this? Can we talk about one of the greatest runs in pop music in like the 2010s?
Absolutely. 2010s into the 2020s. When you get a Charli XCX record, right? It's like there hasn't been one that I dislike. Yeah, like that she's made. There might be some I prefer for sure. I think Brat's probably my favorite, honestly, out of all of them.
It is my new absolute favorite.
Like, this is just like a banger record. But with it, now I expect quality anytime I get a Charli XCX record that there's very, very few pop artists can do, right? Like, your Billie Eilish's can do it,
Yeah, like
Just a
Billie
few
Eilish and Charli XCX are like
like the
standard pop
run.
women who I am genuinely
Just
excited for whenever they drop.
whenever they drop something, I'm like, all right, let's get it. They're on that Tom York run of this. I'm waiting for them to drop something bad, but it doesn't happen because they're just too damn good.
You're
And
reminding me that
yeah,
I want to download the Billie Eilish newer album for the plane. So
that record also banger.
yeah, we
That's some
ser-
2020.
Serious Extreme Deluxe album of the year or pop album of the year for sure contender. Album of the year contender. Like
Absolutely.
this is
The
gonna be a
album of the year
bloodbath.
this year is gonna be.
Bloodbath.
I'm really looking forward to this to the award show this year because 2024. Fuck.
Live
And
from the
then
TWA Hotel.
oh please, please, dude, I low key want to be in like finish training and be stuck in Dallas or Denver. I mean, granted, I'll probably end up moving to Denver, but anyways, stuck there in training and have to do the award show from like stress, like finish my check ride, like literally straight gray hair me, like freshly gone 3 stripes, and I'm just like, Drake, you are the father. And finally give him another little bitch. I can't wait.
Oh God, what did we do to deserve this? Just
2024, like
the LeBron
remember 2018, and it's been years. Like, whereas like 2018 can't be topped. 2024 might top that.
we've had a pretty decent debate. Like we've had some good years, we've had some bad years. But we're like, what is like the best year audio for 2024? Is definitely
2024 is definitely like
top two.
Top two. It's 18 and 24. All we need is to cherry on top. The horrors just need to drop some random shit, even an EP. And I'm all right.
Oh, no. I'm going full hog. If we're
I want an hour and 5 minute
listen,
project. Hour and 5. Joe Rogan.
99% of gamblers quit before their big win. I want an hour. I want a double album from the Horrors. Let's go.
I want the
double album, all caps from the
department
Horrors.
of the horrors. I want 3 hours.
Okay, arbitrary
man.
scale, because we do arbitrary scales every week
Yes.
on Audio Face, because our review is our review. Rather you can give it a ranking system or a numbering system, we're going to tell you how much we love the album, how much we cried to the album, how much the album made us think about the growth of humanity and the human experience itself and all that is beautiful within it and the world that is so chaotic. Wow, these Ritz crackers be hidden. This week it's gonna be what's the deal with airline food? Not only because Jerry Seinfeld is particularly flailing out this past couple of weeks in a phenomenal fashion, but also because, like I said, I really need to catch a flight. I should be packing right now. I'm in a good place, but like I'm also most likely going to forget something important. So let's move on. No, actually, let's do the arbitrary scale. So this is my favorites. So I got you the Biscoffs with the Biscoff cream inside of them.
You just got
mine.
The standard.
Fat ass Dan, the Biscoffs with the vanilla. You gotta go to World Market for these, Joe Rogan.
Damn.
If you think the Oreo vanillas or the grandma's cookies you get from the liquor stores are good,
wait until you try these, baby.
Brother, sister, friend, dudes, dunnies, sisters, comrades,
whatever the fuck y'all calling each other nowadays.
I like a turkey sandwich with just the right amount of tomato.
Brand new gators? Absolutely.
You got to tell him no. We have to do a Cat Williams honorary award this year. like a lifetime achievement award. We should do the first Audio Face lifetime achievement award for Cat Williams.
Just for my favorite stand-up ever when he's in the green suit, and then all his Pip Name Slickback appearances. Absolutely deserves it. This is absolutely my favorite dessert thing ever, which is the shit. How do I say it in English? It's the Ritter Sport chocolate that has a cracker inside of it, that has like a little wafer inside of it, and that is my absolute literal favorite dessert ever made. Yes,
it's like a Klondike bar. It's like, there's a little special treat in the middle. or something.
No, it basically think of it as like German chocolate with Biscoff in the middle. Like it's that
Okay.
good.
Oh
It's
yeah,
very
yeah. I think of the wafer. I'm thinking more like stroopwafel or like maybe
no,
like
no, no,
a
no. Sorry, no, I wouldn't say wafer. Wafer's a bad word.
vanilla wafer.
Biscuit, like a biscuit.
Okay, it's like a biscuit. Okay,
Like
I
a
like
biscuit.
that.
It's my absolute favorite.
I can work with that. Really fast some comments while I'm also resetting some things a little bit here. Pinkerbell said hi.
Hello.
Discount Seth Rogen said howdy. Anti-corporatist says the name of this podcast always reminds me of Ghost Facers. Or
That's
Ghostface
hilarious.
is all
Ghostface
that.
Killer.
Pinkerbell's probably not here, so Anti-corporatist says, wow, she pulled a pink buy, which is funny. And
Clever.
Late Bloomer saying yum with talking about our arbitrary scales. Oh, we get while the getting is good, because we are about to talk about our next album.
We're about to be eating good today, boys.
Gotta be eating something, Joe Rogan.
Gotta be eating something.
So this is actually another album I had to do this was a thinker. KAYTRANADA's Timeless, 1 hour and 3 minutes long and 21 songs. KAYTRANADA, the man, needs barely any introduction, but he's been producing, and this is again one of my leading sort of criticisms of how I'm going to go into this. One of the better runs of the 2010s and the 2020s.
KAYTRANADA for sure.
Yeah, he's also an electronic music, very inspired, but much more of like a house music dance sort of thing, whereas Charli XCX leans towards pop and hyperpop.
Yeah. Oh, keep going.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, you got 99.9%. You have was it Bubba? Was his last record?
Yeah. No, Bubba was technically, yes.
I mean,
you have
KAYTRANADA, but that's in its own bubble of Biscoff goodness.
No, like KAYTRANADA is the electronic music, hipster rap mad villainy. Like
it's such a good record.
It's really just like, the moment I heard this album announced, I knew what it was going to sound like, and I knew it was going to be a banger the whole summer. And message achieved. And usually on Audio Face, I'm like, if it's predictable, I don't like it. But if it's two people doing like a one-off collaborative project and they're taking their best sounds and doing it together,
fuck it.
God bless America. God bless America. We love the smile here. So yeah, like with 99.9% in Bubba, compared to Charli XCX, who has released albums a little bit more quickly, KAYTRANADA has taken his time, which of course we on Audio Face here disapprove of. Obviously kidding. But to that point, right? I think KAYTRANADA, like Charli XCX, is also who we reviewed this week as well, have a distinct sound. Something that I kind of said was templatized to an extent. Like KAYTRANADA, the drum beats he usually uses, it's always going to be like in 4/4 time, similar to how Charli XCX has her classic, like how the measure goes into a major key to meet the tension that goes in before, how she like does many of her songs, right? Like it's a little bit of a stylistic thing, but when you do your stylistic thing too long, it can border along trap. And when you're doing electronic style music like this, that's, to be fair, like like this happens a lot with a lot of artists where I know what a Chami record sounds like, I know what a Disclosure record sounds like, I know what a Charli record sounds like
right.
So it creates an additional challenge and opportunity if you're an electronic music artist, and you can kind of evolve your sound a little bit. And I'll be honest, the first couple of songs in here, when I first listened to it, I was a little bit worried. I was like, okay, these songs are fine and they're good, but also feels a little bit slower than KAYTRANADA, which just kind of blew our backs out, and then Bubba, which was one of my nicer memories of the year 2020. I think it came out in late 2019. I think it was. Yeah, I mostly thought of it as like a 2020 record. I want to say December, and
it came out in December. I'm pretty sure it's like tail in there. Yeah, it did.
It was our like almost exact Audio Face cutoff for the awards, so I remember it as a 2020 record. But like those albums were bops. This is slower.
For sure.
And as I was getting through it, I was like, the first couple of songs, okay, it sounds like he's doing his same like signature snary sort of 4-drum loop thing that makes a KAYTRANADA song sound like what it does. But he also has done that through multiple albums now, and it's the same sort of sound. So it's characteristic, but it's bordering on, I don't know. Thankfully, through, shortly after the beginning of the record and throughout the rest of it, my thoughts changed, and with multiple more listens, I had a little bit more of an evolved perspective. But I want to hear, Sean, what you think first.
I really enjoyed this. I think my favorite part of the record is all of the features that are on here, because they
This is like
all
good DJ Khaled.
this is he's literally a good DJ Khaled.
This is the All Stars, but like KAYTRANADA is actually a DJ,
I mean, you
and
have
like these
like
are actually incredible artists.
yeah, you got Channel Trust, you got Don Tolliver, you have Thundercat,
Sir!
Tinashe, Anderson Paak, Sir, you got Pink Pantheress, you have Childish Gambino, and
Rochelle Jordan rocking out the record as well with phenomenal performances. Charlotte Day Wilson, Don Tolliver doing great. Duran Bernard was I'll just not to cut you off really fast, but like Weird song number 4. Not only do I like Duran Bernard pretty well, but like once we got into Weird song 4, when I got to hear, okay, KAYTRANADA is doing a new sound. He is evolving what he's doing here, and I can really tell it at this point. And along with the lyrics that Duran Bernard is throwing down, and like KAYTRANADA doing the great producer thing of meeting the artist where they're at and making everything succeed and sound really great, I was like, okay, listen, I trust you enough. And this was a really good, like introduction. I'm going to hear it out. I'm going to give it more listens. And yeah, like all of the artists come on here very well. These are a lot of my favorite artists from neopop and R&B over the past, years of doing audio phase. So great execution so far, just looking at that.
I think why I like the amount of features and the features that are on here is because they all have their own little twist, their own sound. In a way, you have Witchy, Childish Gambino, you have Wasted Words. These are kind of all at the end of the record. Song 15 on, because I guess it's like kind of an album and a half. Um, you have Do to Me with Anderson Paak and Sir. And the thing is they all of the features have their own kind of twist and their own sound that goes along with it. But this shows how good of a producer KAYTRANADA is, because he takes all of these different artists and all of their unique sounds and get them to be into a cohesive project, but still stand out on their own. Because, example, like Wasted Words, right? The Thundercat track. Like you hear that, I'm like, oh, that's solid Thundercat, right? But it doesn't throw off that record. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. Even Witchy, Childish Gambino, sounds like a Childish Gambino track, right? But you hear that, and then you're like, oh, okay, it's definitely sounds like Childish Gambino, but again, it doesn't throw it off. It fits well together. To have all these different voices, all these different opinions, all these different styles, and suit well into an entire project really shows how good KAYTRANADA is. It's definitely a slower record, which I like more personally. And I'm glad that he actually went this direction, because compared to Kitramine, Bubba, and a couple other projects, right, that he's been a part of, it's nice to get more of like a real like beautiful neo pop record that you get in this. And it does start like my I guess the only real complaint I have on this is just it might start off a little too slow in a way, to where like you have to listen to it a couple times. Like example, the second track, Spit It Out with Rochelle Jordan, amazing track, I love it. But on first listen, it kind of gets it doesn't really fit well in a way for how I wanted it to sound. But then once you get through the whole thing and listen to it again and have an idea, then it kind of makes sense. But throughout the whole project, the whole record, it's great. And I really like, even just the KAYTRANADA standalone tracks. You have Seemingly, Dance, Please Babe, Stepped On. All those are great.
Some of
Seemingly
these which act as like interludes, and some of these are like full on tracks that he's really killing it on.
Yeah, I like Seemingly right in the middle of the record, I think is a perfect track. Perfect little house banner to put in there in the middle to break up some of the features. So that way it's not just a whole record of features and that's it. It's again showing features. Again, it's showing right his capabilities of a producer and his talent at it. This is a damn good record. Again, 2024. Like, what do we do to deserve this? This is great. It's a little on in 2024, but he gets a pass.
Absolute.
He gets a pass. He gets
the pass. It's literally like the pass.
The pass, right?
When C-word gate happened to Hassan, and Wheat Thins sent him a plaque that said the pass to use the C word. And they're wheat thin, so I guess they get to use that. They're an authority of many. Ritz, you're welcome to sponsor me. I just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, baby.
Gorillas can't say it, but Hassan can.
Yeah, Damon Albarn has too many black friends to be able to say that. He can't get away with it. It's like, oh, it's 2 minutes. It's like Damon Albarn has a lot of problems, and they're like not the ones you would expect from a normal person. He makes too much good music, and it gets kind of annoying. And he has too many black friends, which actually makes him the first reverse racist.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Anyways, I just got to point out, again, so "Due to Me" was an interesting track. Anderson .Paak goes from like, talking about a woman he enjoys really respectfully and like, wants to marry to like, I'm going to put you in a freezer, which is usually what you do to cadavers. I think the line is like, keep you in a freezer till 3005, almost like a callback to the upcoming Childish Gambino record, which I'm like, let's tap the brakes there with that. And then
Childish Gambino release a record?
He did, but it was a remake of that, like, a re-release of that one we did with all the demos. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
that's why we skipped it. Yeah.
That's right.
He's supposedly releasing another record that coincides with something else, but he's in his, supposedly he's not gonna really be an artist anymore kind of phase. But anyways, Sir, I love to hear on a feature. KAYTRANADA did Sir a lot of justice on that track. I think Anderson .Paak brings it down, kind of like the weirder lyricism in that. And Lover, Friend, that, I love a good, contrast song like that "I Love You, I Hate You" song by Little Sims, where you're kind of like dancing with this thing that is both opposite but the same, like dancing with that paradox. I love a good paradox in a pop song, like Feel Good Inc. being a really sad sounding song, like, all these other different bits. Wasted Words, which this is going to be for the Audio Face and Power Report old heads. If Rico Lamitte were a song, Thundercat does like an incredible work job there. And yeah, Pink Pantheress, Channel Trace on Stuntin'.
Great.
When he says, "Roll your windows up on the 405, don't you know it's summer?" He meant that shit. Okay. So this is just a really phenomenal record. It's one that goes into listens, and I want to end my piece. And of course, if you have a last word, feel free to go ahead. Also, I'm boarding Class B, so I need to get there soon. I'm kidding. But
what time you gotta leave?
If I leave by like 8:15, I'll be chilling. Okay. But I was talking with one of my really close friends who introduced me to KAYTRANADA. We've gone to like KAYTRANADA shows and things like that. We have a really like similar common interest in music like this, and a couple people like this. And yeah, the first take was like, this feels really slower, this feels really different, but I had to give it the Audio Face 2 listens and the KAYTRANADA, bonus listen. And I love this record because he evolves his sound at a time when it desperately needed it. If this album sounded too much like his old stuff, and it has those elements, like Charli XCX's record has those elements, but if it had too many of those elements, I would say like, dude, your sound is unfortunately getting stagnant, and I like it, but please fix it. Like same way Disclosure had to do like a whole African-inspired record to really change up the way they've been doing things. But also, I really did a lot of like introspection on this. KAYTRANADA has been making nightclub music for most of the past decade. I think KAYTRAMINE was the first thing that could like be playable and work either in the night or the day. And The Timeless feels like a day club record. And like, I don't know how to describe that in a musical sense, but like, I think you get the vibe of the context of like night versus day. Yeah,
absolutely. And it shows a progression, and it shows, evolution as a producer and as a musical artist, just to show, hey, like I made, club bangers. I made more, late night introspective records, and now it's changing up the sound. And that's something that we always want on Audio Face, right? Is to make different stuff, but stay true to yourself as an artist in a way, right? Like don't do no fugazi bullshit, right? But looking at you, Drake.
Double strays on this review.
Always catching strays. What the hell?
I just want to say that like now this makes KAYTRANADA's whole discography more open to a bunch of different people, because like now you have different
Absolutely.
vibes for different things, different
Yep.
emotions.
You
You're
have like
expanding the usability of KAYTRANADA's music, and like
yeah,
that's a good thing to do for a discography. But like even if you're not thinking
absolutely.
about discography, which is really just like a music pervert way to view of it, this is a great record and a great evolution from an artist I frankly wouldn't expect anything less from. But now here's the thing. Now you're in that superstar territory. You're in that S tier. So like you're not allowed to make many mistakes in the rest of your career, because we know you're this
Hmm.
good. Same thing with Charli
Uh,
XCX.
yeah,
The
and that's
curve
the
is
thing.
higher for y'all now.
Always, always. 2024, just unbelievable, unbelievable.
Arbitrary scale, do arbitrary scales every week on Audio Face, because this is your captain speaking and I gotta go. This is, we're doing airplane food, which is, very apt to that reference. And this is gonna be my I had these, digging through the trash. I had these limited edition Cuban sandwich wavy lays.
What?
Oh, they slap. Dude, let me tell you something. If you can't make it down to Union City in New Jersey to get that Cuban sandwich place Uncle Joey be talking about, you gotta get yourself one of these lays, goddammit. Closest thing to a Cuban sandwich other than getting a Cuban sandwich, which is objectively healthier.
That's
But yeah,
hilarious.
that's my snack.
This is definitely the Lotus Biscoff cookies. The ones you can like dip in your coffee and shit.
The original ones, just the
The original
pure
ones. Yeah.
Biscoffs, yeah.
The pure Biscoff.
This is like the Belgians are like, okay, let's give the Americans what they want, but the
Yeah,
old
yeah, yeah.
Biscoffs are like,
But
yeah.
the old Biscoffs are meant to be dipped in some really strong espresso. That's what I want.
To be fair, Biscoff giving the Americans what they want is actually the Biscoff cream, the Biscoff butter that you can buy.
Oh yeah, I've totally forgot about Biscoff butter. Like a big old like Jif tub of Biscoff butter.
It's really the ultimate have your slop, you pigs, kind of like
Literally,
product.
it's like In and Out. Would you be eating that in the car, you pig?
Would you like a
It's like
tub of animal? How many animal style packets would you like with that?
it's like the heads of Biscoff got In and Out, heard them say you want in the car. Be like, we need to make butter.
All right. Lastly, we have Born in the Wild by Tems. This is 54 minutes, 18 songs long, and this is Tems's proper first album, despite featuring on a ton of
A
great
ton of stuff.
neo-pop and R&B music over the past several years. She was on the Black Panther Wakanda Forever soundtrack. I think
Right.
she's been on a bunch of other different things too. I remember the If Orange Was a Place EP that we reviewed in 2011, because sorry, 2021, that we reviewed in middle school with Mr.
I
Navarro.
was say, I just dropped the Bible right there. I was like, 2011.
We've been doing the we're officially old thing for a while, but that would probably break us both.
The Lord help me.
But yeah, she's been making great music, releasing good, EPs over the past several years. But this, you get a full album with, interludes that start to tell her story, and an opportunity for Tems as a Nigerian artist, kind of like helping this slow but steady wave of getting African inspired music and West African inspired music on the global stage and on the map. It's already there in the clubs. It's already there in the parties and things like that. It's just getting it to that mainstream level. And you've gotten a lot of great artists showing out this year doing that. Tems now adding to that. You get a random J. Cole feature in here. More on that later. And
Super random. Yeah.
so, and he kind of starts it with like, "Oh, surprise! Bet you didn't expect me here." But as a wise man once said, never start a ground war in Kendrick Lamar's hood.
Hold up. I was tripping, y'all. I was tripping. How many of y'all like Kendrick's music? Okay.
J. Cole for the Schmacky Schmiggle Helicopter Award.
Dude, yes. I want to make that. I want to make that award just for that. No one's gonna understand it but us, and that's the whole point. That's just the Audio Face Indulgence Award right there.
Us and like the one longtime Jim Rum viewer before he went to X. Anyways, so
I'm so sad he went to X. God damn it.
with get it one thing about Jim Rome, he'll always get that bag, man. That's
Always.
all it
Always.
is.
How do you think he races horses? Always. He's gotta get the
He
bag.
races. Okay, I gotta see Jim Rome and Jokic like go down like
Oh
now.
yeah, Jim Rome's been owning horses for like ever. Yeah.
Well, he lives in Orange County, so doesn't everyone there? Anyways, Born in the Wild is a great record. It's a great neo-pop record. I think the the nature and like the different parts of um her West African culture. I need to Google it because the specific like minority predominant in West Africa that makes up like a lot of like 50 million or so Africans on the continent in general, and a large part of the diaspora. And it's like has their own language, and it's really unique like musical traditions, kind of like
Mhm.
how Rosalia with Moto Mami was able to bring these pop traditions with traditional Spanish music and like really tie them together in a beautiful way. Like you're getting a lot of that happen here, but you don't even have to do all that thinking. It's just like good music. Like it's just like really well produced. Her singing is incredible. The subject matter is varied enough to not feel super bleak. I mean, not bleak, but like not feel super repetitive. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just enjoyed the shit out of it. You got a lot of vibes. Like she gets like gangster in some of these. You have a song called Gangsta. You have T Unit. Those two are some of my favorites here. But you also have, especially through the interludes, like Special Baby and Voices in My Head, this sort of idea of having this weight on your shoulders of trying to respect and do justice to your culture in this context. And I just really appreciate it. Really good
Yeah.
job.
I think it's a good record. I like how it, like what you get with a lot of, you know, Afrobeat style records and infusing neo pop is you can get a record where it sounds super samey throughout it, and it gets really boring and monotonous, and it's something that I'm like, okay, it's whatever. This you don't get that with Tems with Born in the Wild. You get slower tracks, you get faster tracks, you get Afro beats, you get acoustic things, you get that one random track with J. Cole, which is super random. Um, and it's good, but it's a good track nonetheless.
Yeah, it's fine. Like J. Cole's a good rapper. He's like, does double entendres at the same time that Kendrick is doing quintuple entendres and somersaults on Drake's dead body. So like that comparison is just inevitably there. And I was listening to that, I was like, okay, J. Cole's like, rapping and he's doing really good stuff here. And this is way better than that monkey song that we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. But it is also just that contrast of this is the year of fuck the big me, it's just the big three, and there's no contest right now. Like the
Yeah,
Kendrick is number one, no contest. So like nice, but like what I think it's additive to the song. It's perfectly fine, but J. Cole feels almost relegated to the you know this is the J. Cole that I used to like from Drake, where he just shows up as a feature on a song. He does his R&B sing-songy thing, and then he leaves and I don't have to think about it anymore. Like
right.
he's J. Cole is starting to transition into Target music again. So look at all the products. So
Look at
many
how SKUs.
SKUs.
Um, yeah, it I like it. I think it's a good record. You have tracks like Unfortunate. I think even the opening track, Born in the Wilds, the title track, Free Fall. Those are really beautiful tracks. Only my biggest complaint is just it's long. With 18 songs, about 54 minutes for 2024, it feels long for sure. And especially in the context of a slower neo pop record, I would definitely have liked to have it a little bit tighter with the runtime and whatnot, and I would have appreciated it maybe a little bit more. But I like the range that you get throughout the record. Her voice is fantastic. I love the different motifs in it. It's overall, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a good record.
Yeah. Yoruba are the people I was talking about
You're
from
okay.
from that part of West Africa, who there's a lot of musical traditions from that are just like really well ingrained into this record that she plays justice to. I was going to listen to like some of like the references because I was reading someone like do the coverage of it. And I was like, yeah, once again, you can tell this is an artist who is doing her research and her homework, and getting producers who are on that same vein as well, and making sure that it feels like a genuine respectable portion of that.
For sure.
Some of the highlights I'm thinking about here really quickly, you have uh, yeah, like I mentioned, like the parts where she goes like, you know, she can be R&B and talking about love and feelings and things like that and all this weight stuff, but then there's like Gangsta and T-Unit. T-Unit's a really big favorite of mine. I think I also like Unfortunate as well because it's that kind of right balance of her being able to do like a call and response neo pop kind of song and really just kind of do that justice.
Yeah.
Cool. Arbitrary scale. Arbitrary
Arbitrary.
scales. I'm gonna face because our review is our review. Airline food. What's the deal with these are gonna be also some chips. They make these kettle chips that are like lime and cracked pepper. They're really good. It's like all the joy
Oh
of like a
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
all
I
the
know those
joy of
ones.
like tortilla and like a really nice tortilla chip, but not all the guac and salsa and messiness.
It's definitely the Southwest trail. Their little party trail mix bags that you get. Those low key go hard. Those low key go really hard. Anytime I get that little thing, I'm always like, hell yeah, I eat that shit. Eat that
I
shit
haven't
up.
I haven't been on Southwest in a minute. I usually if there's nothing I like there, I just ask for Canada Dry, and I almost did the thing that I pronounce it badly with. So
Yeah, well, yeah. I always get I always get ginger ale whenever I fly with them too. Anybody, I always ask ginger ale, but that's my drink of choice. That's my drug.
yes, so I have a good 7 minutes for news. Let's just get into some of the albums that we have coming out. Really good albums coming out on the rundown. Terrence Martin, who is a very close confidant of Kendrick Lamar, has a previous collaborator, has tweeted that basically someone said, "Who's locked in with K. Dot right now?" And Terrence Martin said, "All of us." Like could be no, not a straight confirmation, but as cryptic as Kendrick Lamar's team is, and as they don't usually go online to say things unless they like want to make that statement. Kendrick Lamar is doing a Juneteenth concert at the Forum that got over 120,000 people waiting on Ticketmaster
Wait.
for it, and I know because I was number 117,000. um, Kendrick is booting up and he would be dumb not to after the absolute public global mollywhopping that he did to Drake.
Right.
Like absolutely dumb not to. Like at this point, he's got to do another. You don't need another Mr. Morale. You did Mr. Morale. Make a dam. Just punch in a dam. You don't need to do a pimper butterfly. You just got to pop out and show him. So that's going to be great. Also, dear Lord, we have a new Jamie XX record coming
Shit.
out. That Jamie XX record featuring Robin, Panda Bear, Kelsey Sue, XX bandmates Rami and Oliver Sim, and the Avalanches.
Avalanches are coming. Oh, Lord, baby Jesus. That's what we could do in 2024. Is have an Avalanches record. Haven't released one since 2020, I think, and that record was
Since I
incredible.
left you, I
Since I
don't think I'm perfectly happy with that being the last Avalanches record. I don't expect to get another one.
I don't expect them to make another one. They've been making it for a minute. I will never forget Born to Lose. That track goes hard where they sampled Johnny Greenwood's Electric Counterpoint. Like
I
a
remember when you
rendition.
noticed that, and I'm like, you're a savant. You're a
They just
savant.
sat there and I was like, they did what? Yeah.
I think you also said Tom York has a tour actually where he's gonna do like a solo thing and play piano versions of his shows. So
Different
Tom.
versions of a bunch of like Adams for Peace tracks, Tom York tracks, Radiohead tracks, and stuff. But of course, nothing in North America. So thanks, Tom. When can the
That's
smile come back here? God damn it!
the Smile has done a lot in the West, so it's totally fine. Denzel Curry album on the way, featuring Armani White, ASAP Ferg, 2 Chainz, Ty Dolla Sign, Juicy J, Mike James, Project Pat, Kenny Mason, Tia Corinne, Ski Mask the Slump God,
Hell yeah!
Kenny and ASAP Rocky. What? I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe this is my life. And Oh, also, Pharrell is going to be releasing new music while also releasing a Lego movie inspired animated
Yeah,
film about his new music, which is okay,
interesting.
man. That's fine. Cool, cool, dude. That's good.
Pharrell has fuck you money, so I mean he's just bored.
Yeah. So, uh, how many stocks do we really have in stock? Like again, the horrors, the ball is in your court. That's all you need to do to make this the best year of music, possibly of my life. A high I will be chasing for the rest of my life. So there's that. Lastly, quick hits on news that I had to do. There are a couple of, like light woke award type nominations. Oh, apparently Megan the Stallion's also dropping a record at the end of this month too. So there's that. Um, but a couple of, light woke award style things. Freddie Gibbs. Oh no, sorry, it was KAYTRANADA who said that Freddie Gibbs was one of the first people that in the industry that knew that KAYTRANADA was queer or gay, and he was like, yeah, he never said anything about it. He just said, "I'm proud of you. Keep doing your thing." Freddie Gibbs retweeted that story recently and said, "That's my homie in real life, though." So proof that you can be a rapper who talks about drugs and all this stuff and not be a bigot. Adele, who said to someone at her concert, quote, "Did you come to my fucking show and just say that pride sucks? Are you fucking stupid?" End quote. Which is like, that's like, I expect no less from Adele, but like that's incredible energy and rightfully so. Let's see. Someone's in jail, right?
Lots of people in jail.
Someone who was, oh yeah, singer and songwriter The Dream was arrested. There's someone else who was arrested for like embezzlement charges or something like stupid like that. It's like, what are we doing here? Rick Ross posted a video of his horses eating hay from his Ferraris, which is, fine. That's not news anymore. So this is why scrolling through this is a very fun way to produce. And oh, sorry, I'm gonna end on a terrible note, and then I'm gonna end on a fun note. The terrible note is that DJ Khaled is doing the Game 2 pregame for the NHL
for tomorrow.
Finals.
Jesus.
And
great.
If someone yells "Free Palestine" at that, I'm going to scream.
It's in South Florida, so
God, why I have to kill my dreams like that? It's okay because I have the fun note to end on, and that is, oh, sorry, I lied. 3 more minutes. I'll end on a fun note in a moment, but in Connecticut, there was a lawsuit from a teacher on a teacher and on a school district because this teacher was playing, it was a social studies, like 8th grade social studies class, and they were playing like, music that depicted American culture and, relations, things like that. And so this teacher played Kendrick Lamar's All Right in front of his students.
Right.
And one of his students apparently was the son of a cop. And so he, apparently, according to the lawsuit, which is how you play it up as much as possible to get the maximum settlement money, they said that, the kid was traumatized, he was bullied, he had to transfer to another school. It was totally inappropriate to show an 8th grade class. And like, to which I say, I'm going to be doing this a little bit more often, is like, Sean and I are now olds, and so to understand the young perspective of music, I'm going to have to bother my niece and nephew. But my niece knew everything about the Kendrick Drake beef, and I mean everything, as in like the allegations and what those mean. And she's just leaving 6th grade right now. I remember, and not statute of limitations, but also like not putting any of us under the bus here, but like I remember 3rd graders and 4th graders referencing Michael Jackson as a verb for something.
Oh, absolutely.
So like these kids are talking about it, they know it. It's better that a teacher give them some context than they learn it from their friends who don't know any more than them. So I think it's just, these kind of things are so ridiculous. And apparently this teacher has a history of choosing to play these types of controversial videos. But on the other hand, like, why is it the same group of people who are like, we need a thicker skin in this country.
In
Why are
fact,
they
yeah.
like, why are they going like, oh, I'm gonna sue you because you played a rap video, like a very famous rap video from a song that like everyone knows from like 6 years ago, and it could be perceived in a way that makes my feelings sad because I shook hands with a cop once. It's just
She should have balled out and just played Meet the Grams.
I wish. I think the teacher was male, but I wish. And lastly, let's end Audio Face on a fun note. Bullying works. Vince Staples Show Season 2.
We did it. We did it, Joe. We did it.
We did it, Joe. I am waiting for the other shoe to drop. Where is the uncut gems moment? Because this is too good.
2024, man.
I'm definitely gonna miss this flight. I'm kidding, but like that, I would love for that to be the other shoe to drop moment because at least I can just rebook a flight. Until then, this has been Audio Face. Thank you very much for listening and watching and raising my blood pressure. You can find us at audioface.show for all the links to follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, on whatever platforms we're on. And I'll see if we're doing an episode next week. I'm traveling, so it makes it a little bit difficult, but I should have all the equipment to do it if we want to. But also, it's very dependent on the on like what's kind of coming out and whether that helps justify it too. But we will see you in the next episode. Hey, 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 hey! Smoke weed every day. That's a 2000s reference for you. The next episode by Dr. Dre. Anyways, also based on the albums that we just announced and just talked about that are coming out, I've got one recommendation for the smaller artists out there. Push it back. Push it back. Okay. Thank you very much. And we will talk to you soon. Cheers.
Bye-bye.